Hello again.
Oh no, wrong mic. Hello again, and welcome to our weekend show. It's been a slow week for everybody, so we're gonna talk about just gaming news and Article 13 with that development and just our thoughts on it. Nothing too deep today. Nothing. I don't know that we would ever consider ourselves deep. I mean, I get pretty frustrated about some things, but
Well,
can you grab that light?
oh yeah.
Um,
I'm complicated inside.
but yeah.
Unless we sat down and dug in.
And that's what I want to do. I have a topic that I've thrown out to them, and I want to do some more research on it and actually get some kind of sources and put a little backbone into it, as it were.
Okay, so
Okay.
Bud, you're the one that's done all this research on Article 13. I know people are
yeah.
in an uproar.
Not a lot of it. No, that's not true. It's not as drastic as that.
The interwebs is gone.
No, well, from what I've read in the little research I've had, it's not the meme killer as people think it's going to be, because those are supposed to be protected underneath parody and things like that nature.
Yeah.
And I think it'll mostly affect video, because the responsibility is supposed to be on the individual uploader and the media platform. Well, with media platform, a way for them to
Go ahead.
yeah way for them to make sure that they're not uploading copyrighted material is for filters.
Yeah.
Well, filters are very direct, and they might just swipe the board of anything, even if you do have permission. So
they already do.
Well,
So yeah,
it might become
it's gonna be
even
worse.
Yes, exactly. So I think that would be the biggest thing. So like memes, we'll be all right with that. I think people are looking at the wrong thing, even though I think a lot of it might just be jokes and that might just be blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah.
As we as humans do with certain things. Like it's not.
What
that...
are you talking about? We've never blown anything out of proportion in our lives.
Not a common.
Yeah.
Not a common thing that humans do.
Yeah. But
It's a very rare occasion, Bud. How dare you?
I just hope that this, because I'm not really sure if this is an infringement on freedom of speech, because it's mostly affecting the Europeans right now.
That's what it is.
Well, they don't necessarily have freedom of speech, my
Well,
understanding.
exactly.
Not in the same wording that we do.
Yeah, exactly. But they're taking a step, I guess, backwards a bit. So as a world view, that might affect us in the long run, because then our systems might be like, hey, we should follow suit and start taking away certain freedoms from us. Even though this is very light, it's still a step a bit backwards, I think.
I think that would be I don't see us adopting that same system.
I don't know.
I don't either, really.
I mean, things get passed.
Things are gonna. People already have uproars about smaller things.
Yeah.
I mean, what's gonna happen when they're like, "Hey, we're gonna take more things away"?
I mean, they already take enough away with taxes and shit, and we don't agree with that.
I agree with taxes, though.
Not income.
I think
sales tax is one thing, but income, that's...
Sales tax isn't enough to run the country anymore. Unfortunately, income tax is something that we need.
Income tax is constitutionally illegal.
Maybe, but that's for the Supreme Court to decide.
No, that's for the civilians to decide. That's bullshit.
I mean, the Supreme Court literally interpret the law.
Yeah. Well,
that is their job.
That's a little off topic.
I mean, it's an extrapolation of the idea, but I don't think it would come here.
Okay, all right.
If it would, the possibility is much more slim. But I also don't know. With this Article 13, I think it's a bunch of crap meant to just protect many interests that already have a lot of protection.
Yeah.
You know, I use 3 seconds of a clip in some of our older videos, I say it like that because those are videos no one has access to anymore.
But they're talking about like when our bot's gonna know which videos have written permission from copyright holders. It's like
they don't, and there's not even a
be...
submission process. You know, there's not a submission process for rights that you purchase because I went out to purchase rights so we'd have music for the opening of the show, but we could not get those rights. I couldn't secure the rights, but even if I did, there's nowhere for me to tell YouTube that I have the rights until after somebody's copy strike.
Because it's going to be, so like, so our video's going to get filtered before they're allowed into the EU, then more likely. Like
that's from my understanding from what I've read and watched, that is how it would work.
Basically, exactly how
What's
that? Are you in the chat?
I'm in and out.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying, because that's where the question was.
So
it says, so are the videos going to get filtered before they're allowed into the EU?
There is a fear that, yes, that's what's going to happen. And YouTube has said as much that they may even just curtail content in Europe. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how these next 2 years go as each member of the union instates their own version of it, because there's time to change the wording in the law, but they can't change the...
So when does that actually go into effect then?
2 years.
2 years? Okay.
They have 2 years to ratify it within each nation and apply it to their citizens. And companies, I don't know how long companies have to follow suit, but it's going to become overreaching. Nobody has the manpower, and the AI has no ability to distinguish context.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
it becomes
even further because copyright laws and things like that are murky at best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure. Even after trying to look up what the hell it is, what fair use is, transformative work, is very hard to understand what it is or where it comes from. As I have looked into it, because that makes me wonder if we should ever show video clips on here, like that Pokemon clip that we had in one of our episodes. I'm curious what YouTube's going to do with that, because I tried to offer commentary during it, but sometimes I just want to watch the clip and then offer commentary.
Yeah.
Which then they could argue, well, then it's not transformative because you're not commenting over the clip, which means then I'd have to go into post-editing, cut the damn thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And we might as well just film it like a TV show at that point with scenes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what Article 13 is going to do to Europe overall as the internet.
The issue I could see would be you having to wind up paying everybody to talk about anything.
Yes, Google will, is the ultimate thing.
Which is fucking stupid, because then I'll just stop talking. Like, fuck you. I mean, sorry. But, no, it'd be excruciating.
Oh, yeah, it would.
Like, I talked about McDonald's and how good their food is. Oh,
and
here's
it'd be
$10
more
McDonald's.
so
just
for...
Like Rue just said, you'll have to mute audio when you do any kind of commentary or anything.
And the problem is...
reenactments.
Oh, that's even if you're allowed to play the video at that point. The problem is the creators bear no burden there. And while I don't know, I watched Jim Sterling and his thoughts on it.
Okay.
I don't know that I agree with every one of his sentiments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he complains and rants about corporations having protections. I'm like, okay, businesses should have protections. Whether or not they go too far, that's an argument for another time, but I agree with the statement that this affects everybody. And the problem is the people that control the means of distribution, that is YouTube and Facebook, it's not worth their time to do it.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Now, I'm always of the mind, if you want a distribution platform for your own content where you're not allowed to post it elsewhere, you make your own, but not everybody can do that, and not everybody's going to do that. So I guess it's just something... It's going to be a growing pain, that's for damn sure, when it comes to the internet. And I want to see, I'm curious to see where it happens. As far as, like, I saw a comment earlier about Netflix, Hulu, and the like. I don't think Netflix, Hulu, and the like are going to have any trouble in Europe because they secure the rights to air those shows.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is already settled before they even get to the service. I do wonder how broadcasting works, because like even that actually gets very hairy, because like Google's aggregated searches for news, they can't give you more than, like, there is a actual limit placed on what they can tell you about the article in the search results before they have to pay to tell you about that article.
That's fair.
I mean, is it? I mean, like
yes, because
what I mean, the excerpt is small. It's going to make headlines and that clickbaiting titles all the more a problem than they already are.
Yeah,
that's true. But if you should be doing your research on topics like.
The problem with the VPN is if you're caught with it, that's a liability on you. And yes, people think VPNs are untraceable, but if you follow the thread far enough, you can. And I don't. And then you can make the argument: will somebody follow the thread? I don't know. That I couldn't tell you, but VPNs actually put you in violation of the law technically.
Mm.
There's also like, do you think alternatives might show up?
That's what I'm responding to.
Yeah, see, they probably will though. Like honestly,
well, yeah, will they probably?
I most definitely like. I almost guarantee that.
I don't know about pirate radio though. That you can actually track signals that way. And Bud, go ahead.
No, I was listening.
No, I thought you were getting ready to say something. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious what it's going to do because
it's hard to tell right now.
I've been starting to follow more and more streamers lately just to try and get into the community. Get to know some people that do stream things like that, and some of them are out of Europe. I'm curious if I'm ever going to see them after a certain point in time again.
After it actually takes effect.
And I guess technically you could stream behind a white or in front of a white wall. And just talk about things. I mean, nothing to stop you from doing that, but
can't use videos. You can make crude drawings.
But with
like Rue said, like do like reenactments.
Yeah.
Well, I had this thought of like
make really crappy costumes out of like construction paper, like you were in kindergarten.
I feel like we talk about PewDiePie.
That's an option.
I watch most of his videos, but that's something that's actually showing up like on the Reddit as a big joke. Because I don't follow dank memes yet. I probably should because it's probably a lot of fun stuff.
It's interesting.
But that's a big meme going around on the PewDiePie, or not even a new format. It's a new meta format. Everyone is taking all of the old formats and remaking them either with crayon,
that's what I would do,
shapes and paint. And redoing like the Squidward meme,
making them very abstract.
You can make everything like South Park and just make it all like construction paper and just move it around.
It's very interesting,
right?
But they're leaving out enough details that you can't necessarily know who it is just by shapes. But
make flip books.
There are no faces, nothing like that. I don't know. I'm curious. And then that actually is weird because a lot of news sources cite other news companies for like their sourcing.
Yeah,
and I wonder where that draws the line there. Kind of, I wonder if
how far they're going to take it.
Yeah, if that will meet, because I mean, if Google is just giving you an aggregated search and giving you, like that little title bar, and that's enough to trigger it. Just mentioning, I don't know, where does it stop? Does just mentioning the name of another company become the problem?
That's the thing, is they're going to have to refine it a lot more before
I've not read it, so I don't know how insane it gets. And I'm betting it's not that bad, but I'm curious if it could.
Well, they're still going to have to refine it still before it goes into effect. So, I mean, the possibilities are really endless at this point. We really don't know until it's going to happen.
Yeah,
because it'll be until they finalize and say, "Hey, this is exactly what this entails." And even then, there's always that legalized gray area, like even with like trademark and copyright laws, that always take into effect. So it becomes like, I know we were talking about this earlier, but like how Mickey Mouse is technically, like the old Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse is technically going into the public domain in like 2 years or something.
Haha, that's gonna be fun.
But here's the thing: is it's this weird gray area because they still hold trademark on him. So like they could still fight it technically because they're not going to renew that copyright. I don't believe is what the article, like what people were saying.
The market is going to be flooded with Steamboat Willie memes.
It's gonna be weird.
I'm
curious,
it's
especially
weird,
with Disney's new streaming service.
It's this weird in between thing though, like that they still had some power with like their trademark and their with that copyright that way, but like, so you run into this weird gray area where it becomes a hazy middle of, well, it could go either way, kind of thing. I don't know.
I'm kind of I seem to be in the minority here. I'm of the mind that if your company is still viable and you're still producing content using that character, I don't think it should necessarily matter. I don't think there should be a limit on that copyright, because if you're consistently using that character and developing it, whether or not it's in any meaningful way to everybody, but it is meaningful in a financial way to the company, it should still be protected under that company. It's kind of an illusion, or
2024 is when Steamboat Willie.
an illusion to something that an allusion to an upcoming article I'd like to do more research on. But I kind of feel that, like, just because something's old, if it's still in use by the people who created it, the company that created it, it should still be theirs to use.
I can see that.
I think it's, I don't know, it's strange. I think it still is, though, through trademarks.
Well, that's what I mean. That's a topic I would actually like to do some digging into, a research, maybe call some lawyers, annoy them. Be like, hey, copyright dude, talk to me. What's going down here? Tell me about Steamboat Mickey. He's going to be a Steamboat Mickey and be like, that damn mouse on a boat.
I think you would have to open up the door very slowly, because they're like little gremlins. But they don't see the light of day very often.
That is apparently the only Mickey, though. So a lot of people were worried it was going to be like the actual Mickey. It's not, because he's changed so much over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a changing of your brand or stylization, but that doesn't detract from the character's origin. But I mean, that would mean Oswald the Rabbit should be public domain already, because he predates Disney.
Is he though? Is he not?
He's owned by Disney now. He was traded for an anchor from Universal.
They might have renewed that. I don't know.
Disney traded one of their anchors to Universal for the rights to Oswald the Rabbit. Because Oswald the Rabbit was Walt's first creation.
He was technically like the original,
but he was
Mickey
created
Mouse.
under Universal.
So Universal got to keep him.
I understand.
So that's why he created Mickey Mouse, was so they had a different mascot.
I gotcha. Huh. That's interesting.
It's your fun fact of the day, your Disney fact of the day.
Okay.
Yeah. I was actually talking to some people about that at work yesterday, because they're talking about trivia night for Disney. I'm like,
so
we watch Disney documentaries all the time.
Are they going to start having Walt the Rabbit cartoons on the Disney Channel now, since they have them?
Actually, I'm very curious.
It's a possibility.
I'm very curious, because I don't know how many people know, but Disney's, because I didn't even know it was technically a thing. I heard it was coming, but Disney's coming out with their own streaming service.
Yes, yeah.
And they've announced new details that everything in the Disney Vault will be there.
That'd be nice.
That means all their old cartoons, everything. I'm curious to see if they really mean everything, because Song of the South is very controversial.
I was just thinking that.
I've always wanted to see it,
that?
just because I don't know anything about it.
There's a lot of...
I don't think I've heard of it.
You probably wouldn't, because it's very kind of
You have, if you've ridden Splash Mountain.
Hang on.
That is where the tale comes from.
There are certain PC issues with that.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, is that what it's called? September 2019.
Yeah.
Hey, it comes out during.
So it'll be Marvel, Star Wars, and all Disney. Anything else? ABC shows?
Fox.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Fox.
Actually, now the more and more I think about that, I'm unhappy with that merger.
Oh,
I'm so unhappy with it.
Yeah, because they're buying out everything.
And I'm of the mind that it's one of the same things that killed GameStop.
It's going to be a monopoly. Like you said, like GameStop, and it's just going to...
Quality's going to fall because nobody has... I mean, yes,
competition.
Okay, I don't think the quality's going to get bad in everything Disney. I think that it's going to become so big that things will fall to the wayside, and there will be collateral damage.
Yeah, it'll be watered down.
Things
will be watered down.
Because one CEO having to maintain so many different studios...
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that the CEO actually has to go to every studio that's under him and be like, I don't like this shit. I don't like that shit. No, it's more like he goes to him, he says, if this hits the fan, you go bye-bye.
Yeah.
We just shut your stuff down.
Yeah.
And I don't like that idea because, micromanaging to some extent can be a good thing, especially for properties like these. If somebody's going to do something that's going to cause it to be stripped down, you don't want it to be under somebody who's only got 5 minutes in the day to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, what went wrong? What can we do to fix it? More like, well, that went bad. It almost makes me feel like it's going to become another EA situation. Well, that game didn't do good, but you told us to make it this way. We said we don't make games that way. Well, that's all right. You still messed up. We're going to shut you down.
That's kind of what Rude is like. That Disney
Mhm.
doesn't care about the actual movie. Like he just looks at the bottom line. Like that's what it ends up being. Like, well, it was a crap
And
shoot.
that
So
sucks
like,
because that was not Walt's philosophy at all.
you're fired
I
now.
mean,
Congratulations.
And I don't necessarily agree with everything that Walt agreed with, but his philosophy was never about that bottom dollar. Like it was really about making that magic. Even when it would send them into possible bankruptcy, he would do it. I mean, hell, even making the park in Anaheim, he actually the company that oversaw the parks in the beginning was actually separate from Disney, the studios. He found it so that because they wouldn't let him spend money on the park. They're like, this is unnecessary. So he went out and formed his own company and then did it himself.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so I mean, he wanted to make profit, but he wasn't all about the bottom line. Same with like Walmart. Sam Walton would be turning in his grave today with the way that they treat people.
We're getting a lot of chat, so I was just letting you point it out for you, so I didn't have to read it all out loud.
Yeah, that's true. Independent with Disney over them doesn't mean Disney can't and won't shut them down. Is my concern. Like EA may or may not be over some of these studios. They still operate independently, but if the game they ask you to make bombs, even though it's not in your repertoire, if they ask you to swing dance and all you know how to do is tango, there's going to be a problem there with your production. But they're going to blame you and shut you down. So, I think Disney still wields that power. Yeah. And I don't like it that they wield that power over so many things. Not to mention,
they do own a lot of stuff.
The one thing I wish that Disney would do, which is kind of nitpicky, is I wish they would take more time with their product. What do you mean? With Marvel, it's they've been doing a really good job with Marvel, like putting out a movie like every every 6 months, right? Okay. But each one in its own right have been good. Like they haven't been flops generally, right?
Yeah. I mean, the lowest was like a 78.
Yeah.
70.
So that's that kind of an exception. But with Star Wars, like every 6 months there's something coming out, and a lot of it is shit because they're not putting the time into it. They're not planning it out.
They're milking that cash cow.
Exactly. I wish they would just put more time and love.
For which one? Star Wars, you say?
Yeah.
Talking about like the Han.
I like the Force Awakens.
They're talking like the Han Solo.
Yeah, the first one.
J.J. Abrams.
The first one came out was good. After that, all shit because they're just pushing it out instead of putting time into it and planning it out. There's like, oh, let's put one out, put one out.
Star Wars movies were years apart.
That's exactly.
They're originals. They're milking a cash cow before hype dies down.
I think if they were to put a little bit more time.
Yeah,
and planning like they should.
See, that'd be nice too.
And I don't think the fan base would go anywhere either.
Rue makes
no. We wouldn't.
Rue makes a good point too. Is that they need to expand on that universe and not just focus on the Skywalker,
or just not destroy the entire legacy content.
Yeah, someone thought it'd be. I heard this somewhere. It'd be a cool idea if they didn't do anything with the main cast, and a whole separate thing was just the bounty hunters hunting down aliens on exotic planets. Like holy shit, yeah. I want to see that. I want to see bounty hunters hunting down.
I want to see the Grey Jedi explored personally.
Yeah, even that would be cool too.
Like there becomes a point where something becomes so like eat bacon every day. You're like you're gonna get really bored of it.
I feel like
and it's just like I want something else.
It's like they're literally manufacturing addicts and kids. If they don't get their Star Wars movie every year, they're gonna be pissy. And I'm not saying that's actually what's happening. I'm giving an analogy. It's like the way that they're pumping it out, it's like they're addicted to making movies. Like, you have to get another one out. If we don't get it out, we're going to lose it. Dude, I guarantee you the Star Wars fan base has been around for a long time. I think they can wait 5 years for a movie after waiting, what was it, 98 was the last of the re-releases?
Here's the thing. They're getting upset about the people who are just very vocal about it, who don't care. I don't think care as much. They're just doing it just to be whiny, and they're like, oh well, we had a movie last year, where's my movie this year? It's like You do realize
That instant gratification.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the thing.
I know that's a problem for me. You know, with
That's right. I
somebody
forgot about that.
ADD, I just always
You forgot
am on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So those kind of movies appeal to me because it's new information coming into my head. I can get hooked into it. But as soon as I see the next movie, my mind's like, I wonder what happens next. Like I'm not like I need it, but like
you just want to know. But here's the thing: is whenever you rush it, it becomes
and when they're giving it to me at such that rate, it's like no.
And
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember what I was saying now because
When you rush it.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Well,
Just it becomes
like
it loses all meaning at that point. Like it's just like it's literally just like shoveling stuff down your throat.
There's
It's
no
like,
love.
No, you can tell when it kind of reminds me of like I know we waited forever for Kingdom Hearts 3, but that's honestly kind of how Kingdom Hearts 3 felt. So like, hey, we've been telling people we're gonna make this game for the past 10 years. Let's start on it this year and do it all in 1 year, and then it's just like here's this pile of junk.
I think that game just I feel like that game got no love. Like it
That's what
opened up with a decent story.
That's what
but
I'm
then,
saying. It doesn't feel like they put the time in it that they said that they did.
Or
like,
they
it
didn't
feels
put
like
it in the right area.
they did, yeah. So it feels like they put it into like the graphics, into the design, into the world, like the actual looks of it.
Not the battle.
But when it came, when it came to the actual story, though, it felt so hollow. That's what it kind of felt like. It felt like one of those games that they come out with every year. That's like, here's just something to tide you over, and that's not what I enjoy because I played that game. I honestly felt so disappointed that I waited so long for a story just to get nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know where to take it, and that's why it took so long. But then the fan base got so vocal. They're like, we have to put something.
It's been like 10 years.
I enjoyed.
Oh no, maybe he legit.
That's what I said. It feels like they just started this year and just pushed something out because they kept telling people, "Hey, this is coming. Hey, we're making this. It's supposed to be out in this general time period," and then they finally announced it, and I just don't feel like they gave it the time of day it really deserved because a lot of people that I knew were. I kept telling them after I beat it, I'm like, "Don't waste your time," like because a lot of them were taking it slow. They wanted to enjoy the story. I'm like, "Don't. You're gonna regret it. Not worth it." And then they finished. They're like, no, it's totally worth it. And then they finished the game finally. And they're like, you're right. It wasn't worth it. That's a bad feeling when you wait that long for a game that you really, really enjoy, and just to find out what's supposed to be the finale of the game is nothing but a small. You're expecting fireworks and you got a little puff of smoke.
Side note, I don't think any of us is considered. We don't track the chat on this one, so if we do respond to chat, we need to read it for context in the video.
Is it not on the screen?
No, we did that in the beginning. We're not putting up chat during these table talks.
Oh, I have just been responding to the voices in my head.
Oh.
I haven't been responding to the chat.
Okay, I was beginning to wonder.
EA, we make hype, not games. That's kind of true.
And that's becoming Square Enix ever since they joined with Square Enix.
So sad.
But I don't know.
I hate that. Like I get so hyped for. Honestly, I'm really not excited for games that much anymore. Like unless it's a Nintendo title. Or unless
sounds so fanboy, but
it's true though. I'm not trying to be because I do play other games. I don't play just Nintendo. I play lots of other games.
Well, you don't play like God of War. That was actually apparently really good.
I actually did play God of War a little bit.
Where?
I had it for like PlayStation 2.
No, the new one.
No, I haven't played the new one yet.
Yeah, I'm hearing that one was pretty epic.
Well, I may give it a shot, but like
and very story driven this time.
But it becomes to a point to where like they'll announce a game and they'll make it look really cool. But I'm getting to this point now in the gaming industry that I'll see something on the screen. I'll be like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I bet it's gonna suck. Like it really
all
is.
Their
like,
money goes into ad production.
Yeah, I'm just like that looks like a really cool game. Too bad it's probably gonna fail and I'm probably gonna hate it and then it's probably gonna go on sale in the first week.
Well, that's where your budget went.
But that's the thing is though, like most of the like almost every Nintendo game I don't ever have that feeling. But any other thing that ever comes out, like which game?
I think there's a lot of
Cyberpunk 2077. I have not. See,
that
it looks cool. It looks cool, but
Yeah.
I've got this weird feeling underneath a lot of the times. Like I said, that the game It's like when they come out with it, it's not going to be what they said it's
I
going
think
to
it'll
be.
be all right. You were saying, bud?
That's why I think there's still most of the power is in the small developing divisions and companies, because with a smaller team, there's more love put into it, because if it fails, it's on you.
Oh yeah.
So that's why a lot of the indie games are really good, because it's a small team and they put everything they have.
They have into it. Honestly, I'm more likely now to take a chance.
I'm not talking to you guys.
I'm more likely to take a chance now on indie games, especially like more than I was before. Indie games were like Flappy Bird and a weird Mario games, but like it feels like I don't know. It feels like indie games now are becoming more. I don't know. It feels like they're putting more effort into the games than the actual companies are. Like
they are a company. Let's be straight there.
Yeah.
But like you know what I'm talking, like the actual big companies.
And a corporation.
They're actually able to
they actually care about like how the game plays, how people are going to perceive it, rather than, oh hey, this game looks super realistic. Look at this blade of grass that we spent 3, 5, 10 hours working on making this one blade of grass sway perfectly in the wind.
I can almost smell it when I cut it.
Yeah, right? You're going to see for a whole 5 seconds when you step on it with your character and then walk off. But, because recently I've been playing, after they announced the indie game Cadence of Hyrule for the Switch, I looked back into the game that they had made prior, which was Crypt of the Necrodancer. I am absolutely obsessed with that game right now. It is so good.
It looks dumb.
It is so much fun.
I'll take your word for it. It's not something that looks interesting.
I think it's awesome. It's very interesting. It's like a rhythm.
I'm glad you found your happy place.
It's like a rhythm tactic, or like over the head tactic game. Certain enemies you have to learn like their pattern. Like it almost plays like a Monster Hunter kind of sort, where you have to learn the patterns, because on the certain beats they jump certain ways or they move on certain beats.
There's another game I was playing recently that's kind of like that. That sounds interesting.
We dropped 115 frames.
Oh, did we? Yeah,
0.1%.
I'll do the same, Shadow. Like if honestly, like if they're like I said, Nintendo.
You wanna read the comment?
About it's like you'll buy games at launch if you're really into it. Yeah, like if a new Zelda game comes out, I'm not gonna wait to see if it's good. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be good. I'm gonna shut up and take my money.
I'm the same way with the Persona series.
But indie games doesn't feel like you've invested into it if it's just $5 to $10. That's true. So like that's another thing. Like
you don't feel like you lost if it's not good.
It's not a $60 game that I played for 10 minutes and was like, well, that was fun.
And then you go to turn it in, and you only get like 15 for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, just to go step back on Kingdom Hearts Toes again, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the close of the story. I was upset with the lack of growth in the story in that one. Even the side games at that point, weird as they were, had character development and growth. And Sora's growth
was minimal.
Yeah.
They made it seem
if anything, Sora went backwards.
If you go back and watch the trailer, those points that they could have made, like where he was like screaming at the end, and then like, they could have done so much more with Kairi, which they made it seem like they were going to do so much more with her and Riku, and they really didn't. They didn't do anything. Kairi and Riku did absolutely nothing.
If anything, use her as a setup for a possible sequel.
They did. That's all that they did, and it felt really bad because they were like, "Oh yeah, we're like and Axel even he didn't even do anything. He literally did nothing. Like they killed like 3 Heartless on screen, and that was it. That's all you saw. But they had hyped this up so much, and they made it feel like, hey, Sora's gonna go through this whole big ordeal. The other characters are going to get more involved, and then it was nothing.
And he went through an ordeal.
It was so small, though. It really wasn't that pivotal. Like I don't feel.
It didn't actually seem like it hit him that hard.
It didn't. It did for a minute, and then it was like, okay, well, we're just gonna do.
We fixed it.
We fixed it. Well, we kind of fixed it. Yeah. I don't know. They could have done. It just makes me so mad. They could have done so much more.
I'd just say cut out Frozen, Big Hero 6, and
I liked Big Hero 6. The world.
Okay, fine. Cut out Frozen. Yeah, cut out Frozen, and you could have added a lot to the last world.
Frozen and
the Keyblade.
Tangled was fun too.
That's what I mean.
They could have
cut out Frozen.
They could have added a little bit more to it.
Cut out Frozen, then you got you could add a solid 5-6 hours to
story development.
The Keyblade Graveyard.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know.
Anyway,
it's hard to go through it without like getting too spoilery.
How we go from there. Article 13 to this.
That's fine.
That's how these conversations go.
Right.
I mean, we're not a news source, like we're a conversation.
Oh, yes, we are.
No, you know what I mean? Like, I like this format where we do get kind of.
No, that's fine. I'm just laughing how we went all the way from Article 13, memes and video censorship on YouTube. Now we're talking about Disney, Kingdom Hearts, and
Well, yeah, because
the future of Star Wars.
So if you go down it turns into like a tree vine and went from copyright to stuff because Mickey was becoming free. And then
How do we bring it back, though?
We don't.
we don't. It's gone.
We're too far down the rabbit hole.
Dang it. I'm gonna find a way to. Well, Disney, they're gonna be the biggest censorship headache for everybody, and there we go.
And here comes the giant
No,
waterfall.
I
and
agree
pushes
with
you
that,
back down.
A big
Luna.
Mickey hand. You're sued.
Shadow Luna says, there's so much out these days, though, it just seems better to wait. I agree with that sentiment. Like, I want to play all the games that are coming out this year, but my time is becoming increasingly limited.
Yeah.
And I can't play everything, and I'm starting to realize I don't want to. I'll just watch somebody else play it at this point because I don't have the time to play it, but I can have it playing in the background, and I can look up every now and then as I feel a need to, or look up stories. But if I'm actually going to replay anything these days, it's more likely going to be an older RPG that I know I've invested time into before, and I don't feel like I've wasted my time when it's done again. Like the playthrough of Chrono Trigger just wrapped up with the guy that I've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so stoked to play Chrono Trigger again. All these new games coming out, it's like I don't even care because I'm so worried that I'm gonna be frustrated with the game that I get. Now, like
I'm just worried it's gonna
like
be
Nintendo
boring.
games, they're always because that's their mantra. It's in their blood. It's the game has to be fun or we won't release it.
See, that's why I never
Like
really
they're willing
worry
to
about.
scrap whole games to do it.
That's why I never really worry about Nintendo games when they come out. If there's a game on
What
Nintendo
about
that I'm like, hey,
Nintendogs?
That was
I
supposed to be
actually liked
entertaining.
Nintendogs. You shut
Yeah.
your damn mouth.
I actually never played it.
It was fairly entertaining.
And it's pretty fun.
Really?
It's only like a $30 game anyway.
And
So.
the dog can't die. So if you don't take care of it for 30 days,
It's
you just
fine.
open the DS back up and it's there and still loves you.
It's still fine.
It's not 2 feet under because that's as far as your kid can dig.
Dang.
Oh my god.
Ouch. Anyway. Well, that just got dark. Anyway, but that's the thing is like when Nintendo releases games or says, "Hey, we got this game coming out," and I think it looks interesting. I'm almost 100% guaranteed. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
certain that I'm going to enjoy it.
Mhm.
But like I said, like all these other games, just I don't know. Comes to the point where it's like I said, there's just so many of them. It's like I'd rather wait, see what other people are saying,
Like,
watch somebody else start to play through it, and then
Yeah.
realize, oh yeah, exactly what I thought it was gonna be.
I can only wonder, like, because my parents would buy games for birthdays, things like that, when I was growing up. So I never knew like the price of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially as we were growing up, we're used to $50, $60, sometimes 40, 30, and all thanks to indies. But we're used to that $60 stuck price point here.
Yeah.
Looking in old ads, about
Those
things.
systems are expensive.
Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Triple Trouble, was $97 when it launched.
What?
Yeah, it was expensive.
Yeah, games ranged anywhere from $40 to $100 and more.
I didn't realize this.
And
That's
that was
why-
in retail new.
That's why your parents never bought you games when you asked them to buy you one
Yeah.
because they were honestly too expensive.
So like when I look back and I'm
Wow.
like, man, I'm paying $30 for this game now. I feel like I'm getting kind of a good deal. but I find that funny because I feel like that does in some ways limit the way games are done here.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Japan, and I've talked to you guys about this many times. In Japan,
Oh,
like
it's
when we were
free
there,
ads.
games were anywhere from $20 to $100 and more, as it
It-
was in
those
the
are new in
90s
box, yeah.
here.
Mhm.
But because the studios set the price, they charge what they think the game is worth to get a ROI, return on that investment. And here, if you go above that norm without adding any extras in,
Oh yeah.
Oh, people are gonna
people
riot.
have a conniption fit. But I can go on the eShop now from Japan, and to get Dragon Quest Heroes, it's going to cost me $90.
That's pretty steep.
And they pay it because they know they're going to get a quality product most of the time. And we say most of the time, but
Yeah, a lot of older gamers forget that there are lots and lots of teens these days that have never played the old classics. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
generic shooters to experienced gamers, but it is something new and exciting to a 13-year-old. It's true.
Yeah. Shadow Loon is asking if we have a cost per gameplay analysis that we do. This is my cost per analysis for a game that says, was the game worth my money? Because Laura will tell you, I'm the guy that will buy a game for 20 minutes of gameplay just to see if I like it.
Yeah.
So, but my actual thing is, if the game costs me $60 and it takes me 6 hours of work to pay for the game, if I spend 6 hours with that game and enjoyed that 6 hours, whether or not I finished the game, then it was an acceptable value to me. Because I got the same time out of it I invested in obtaining it. So to me, that seems a fair trade. Now, if it goes on to be something that I put even more hours in, like the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World game that came out, that was the spiritual successor to Jurassic World or Park Operation Genesis, or you build your own Jurassic Park, I put 50, 60 hours in that game. That, to me, was a great value game because I got all that time out of it. After putting in only 6 hours of work to obtain the game, I got to play for 60 hours and had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my thing. And you get my rating of the game goes up the more joy I get out of the game, and even more exponentially. So it's kind of like compounding interest. The more factors that affect it will increase my rating of the game. If it takes longer, that's an increase in rating.
Mm-hmm.
If it takes longer and it's good, that's an increase in rating.
Yeah.
And replayability is never really anything of a concern to me unless it gives me new story content, like Chrono Trigger with 14 endings is replayable to me because I don't have to get my ass kicked by scaled enemies. I can go in, get to the part of the story where the new ending is, beat the game, and that's all I got to do. I don't have to actually replay every element. I just want new story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of do agree with your logic there for I don't know. I get to a point where if I enjoyed the game at the end of the day, then I think it was worth it. Something that I genuinely enjoyed, then I don't mind paying that money. I kind of take it on. I don't really have a scale that I use like how Steven does. I'm not like, well, if I spent this much time, I paid this much for it, then it was worth my time. For me, it was more like, did I thoroughly enjoy it? Did I play it for more than a day? Is it something I don't mind going back to later on? Is it something that I would suggest to my friends, like, hey, I found this really cool game, you should play it, let me talk about it, let me draw art of it, let me do all these things, let me make costumes of it, let me do all these crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually whenever I'm like, this is a really good game, that was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a basis that I go off of. It's kind of one of those feelings of that was a good value. I'm glad I bought that game. It's kind of I'm feeling with the Crypt of the Necrodancer. I was a little scared. I was like, well, my game's only $20. I'm like, surely it's worth that. It's definitely worth that. I absolutely love it. It's a great game.
Yeah.
But what about you, Bud? Do you have any basis off of when a game is worth it or not?
Well, considering I buy 90% of my games used, because a lot of them are advanced and Game Boy games and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mostly buy things used because there's a bunch of reviews out and there's word of mouth to where everyone's talked it up, everyone likes it.
Yeah.
Where by the time I finally get to it, I'm not gonna buy it new.
I just found our circle
I'll just
back
buy
to
it
YouTube
used because it's cheaper and everything.
No, I know.
But I do follow Atlas and Sega.
You can't go wrong with Atlas games.
Atlas games are usually always
even if you don't
fantastic.
like the story, the mechanics are generally
God,
spot on.
Yeah. And then Sega is still pretty good.
Yeah.
With Yakuza and that.
It's alright.
Fire Emblems are good.
I don't know. I'm getting kind of bored of Fire Emblems.
Really?
Really, I
No,
am. Like the new Fire Emblem game for the Nintendo Switch. I'm really
We should buy one copy
I'm really not looking.
just so that we play it.
I don't mind playing it. It's just
We'll play it together.
I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm bored of it. I hate to say.
I was just frustrated with
feels like the story. Like I don't know.
I was just
always the same.
I was frustrated with what was the Fates.
Mhm.
Even after going out and buying the collector's edition, so I have a physical copy of the third scenario. I stopped playing because I played the hell out of Awakening.
That's what I
because
mean. Yeah,
you
I
could
did too.
you could reset your class all the time and keep getting stronger, but they don't tell you this in the game. But in Fates, you get one class reset, and once you hit max level, it's it.
Hang on.
You can't get any stronger. So that pissed me off because I raised my character to a level, and that level is the 15 is where you get your second ability in that game. And then I set it, and then I moved his class over to reset his level. Kept him at level 15. I don't get the ability, and it was a waste of a shift. So my main character is now screwed for the path I set forward because it didn't explain that to me.
Yeah.
It didn't say, hey, you're not going to be able to use these seals to change your things willy-nilly. That'd have been nice to know from the outstart. I'd have changed the way I did the game, played it.
But Shadow, to answer Shadow's message, I'm super hyped for the Zelda crossover with Necrodancer because that's the whole reason I picked up Necrodancer because they announced the Cadence of Hyrule. Now that I'm playing Necrodancer, I'm super excited for the crossover. So excited. Zelda music is my favorite.
You made me forget the segue.
I'm sorry. If you couldn't tell, I really like Zelda. All the Zelda stuff here is mine. All the Zelda stuff back here is mine.
Including the Nintendo cereal
The Nintendo
system.
cereal box. And I have even more Zelda stuff. This is just a portion of it. This is all the stuff I could drag out.
Maybe you should just do a video on your stuff.
And then I made a Ravio hat. I make a lot of cosplay stuff, so I'll have to showcase that sometime. I love that Ravio hat. Look how good it is. It's all out of felt. What? Super proud of my stuff. You should.
I know. I'm laughing with you. I'm not laughing at.
You're laughing.
But you were
at
talking
me.
about what?
No.
Atlas and
Sega and how they're pretty solid. And
This
then
is the poop.
oh yeah, you were talking about reviews. Okay, so there's our segue back to YouTube. So you talk about reviews. Reviews, I'm skeptical of.
Okay.
There's a video by Donkey on YouTube you should watch where he reviews reviewers.
I guess I missed that one. Is that older?
About a year or so, and it was. Yeah. And I agree with another streamer that we were talking about Donkey with recently. They mentioned that Donkey, when he's serious about his reviews, he's good, and he really is good.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with everything he says, but he does give a good and thorough review in his games, and he does it in a very short amount of time.
Who, Donkey?
Yeah. But when he does his serious reviews.
Oh yeah, my other favorite reviewer is I usually listen to Donkey, and I haven't listened to him in a while, but oh shoot, what's that one guy?
I don't know.
Yahtzee.
Yeah.
I forget what his actual channel name is. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
But I'm becoming skeptical of reviews anymore because Call of Duty 9 out of 10, Call of Duty 9 out of 10, Battlefield 9 out of 10. Now, are those games 9 out of 10 worthy? Probably. I mean, if they're fun and they get that time value out of it, then yes. But if they can say that Call of Duty with no story drive anymore is 9 out of 10, but then they give games that have maybe a little bit of grit or work that need to be put in it and they grade it down, it seems to be, I don't know. Watch Donkey's video on reviews on reviewers and you'll get what I'm saying. I agree with his sentiment there, that it just feels like there's a disconnect between the reviewers and gamers and what games are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, zero punctuation.
And what they can be.
That's right.
Yeah, zero punctuation.
But Donkey does. He was saying that he didn't know Donkey did serious reviews. They are and they aren't.
It's hit and miss, and I am not TikToking here.
He still he still makes like jokes about it, but like it's still kind of.
I think you can tell in the tone.
The tone of his voice is very different in the ones where he's being serious about what he's talking about, and he doesn't necessarily. Few of his game reviews are super serious, It's more of when he's discussing things like when he talks about remastering games. That was a one where he's serious. He has his jokes, but like you can tell, you can hear, you can feel the passion in what's going on in that video.
In the certain parts, yeah, where he's not making jokes.
Yeah, you can feel that he has put time and thought into what he's saying about these things, and I find that informative and enlightening. I may not like getting my ass kicked in From Software games, but he makes it look like it could be an enjoyable experience because you can feel it from the passion of it. And that can tell me that, Dark Souls, while not my cup of tea, is still probably a good game. It was just not something for me. I don't have that kind of time to get my ass kicked off a mountain so many times by something I can't see.
Oh, yeah, it's so much fun.
But
it's fun and
you're
infuriating.
supposed to roll.
Yeah, well, you can't roll from something you can't see on the screen.
You roll the entire time across
Just
the
keep
bridge.
rolling.
Then I just roll off the bridge.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
Yeah. But
I did that one day when I was playing. I actually rolled.
But now that we're back on YouTube again,
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. Now that we're back on YouTube again,
do a barrel roll.
yeah, we've done a barrel roll. I think we've hit all our marks and
No,
come full circle. Though we
off the
haven't
bridge. You
not
think is what he's
reached.
talking about? I roll. You roll off bridges.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yes,
That's
we
okay.
can barrel roll back into YouTube. So
Yeah, we already did, and I think that's where we're gonna stop there because we didn't hit our gaming news. That's okay because today was kind of a whatever day.
I like where this conversation.
Are we
went.
running low on time
Yes.
Yes, I have to work.
already?
It's 9:30.
Oh, this is going by fast. I
Right?
thought we still
Right.
had time to go over
No,
that. So.
time is
No.
up.
Oh,
And
okay.
since we only have one car.
Well, hey, we can clump it all together for next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do
can.
gaming news next week.
But
Maybe have a little bit more.
yeah,
Actually, yeah, because a little on my part, I'll have more news on mine.
a little bit of Monica in the sun, a little bit of Tina all night long,
A little.
a little bit of Jessica is all I need.
I don't remember the rest.
I don't either.
I just
remember-
want one girl. That's all.
I remember they wrote the a version of that song for
Uh-huh.
the Disney Channel.
No.
Yeah.
That's bad.
There's a kimono Pikachu
Yeah.
you can have.
A little bit of
She's
Daisy.
pretty.
But he had to reword some of it, of course. But
Wait, what? 1, 3, 4. Wait, what?
the Mambo number 5.
Oh yeah, the yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mambo number 5.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but they did that. Dude, oh my god, I should go to my parents' house and bust out the Mickey Unwrapped CD. Have you heard that?
No, that sounds
So
amazing.
Mickey
sounds
does a
funny.
lot of like hip hop music but
Oh,
it's all
geez.
mixed with Mickey and the gang.
So it's like
If he
Kids
doesn't-
Bop, but with Mickey.
with Mickey.
it's a thing
That's funny.
that I
Please,
enjoyed as a kid.
I have to listen to this.
Yeah, we need to make a.
we need to make
afternoon
it.
of this.
Yeah.
We'll just call the video "This video is copy struck." This video is owned by Disney, and we don't care.
We'll copy strike it for you. Don't worry. That'd be
Alright.
funny, but yeah, unfortunately, it's about
It's time to
time.
wrap this up. So
Okay.
It's
we
been a lot of
appreciate
fun.
yeah, we appreciate you guys joining with us, participating in the conversation.
We'll be back on Monday
Yep.
at like 8:30ish.
8:30 to continue our playthrough of Four Sword, and I have fixed a sound problem that was causing the screeching about 15 minutes into the stream.
Oh, was it screeching or something?
Oh,
like
yeah.
that? The whole time?
No,
Oh.
only a few minutes. I
okay.
eventually muted that input because I was like, I
Oh.
can't figure out what sound is coming through, so I just shut it the way off. But when I listened back, like apparently something I did made it screech. So I'm gonna start also recording our videos with multiple soundtrack layers, so that when that kind of crap happens, I can cut it out if you want to watch it on YouTube without all that crap in it. So if you do like, again, and this is our tag now, if you do like what we're doing here, follow us to support the channel, go to YouTube, subscribe to us, and just give us a watch, like, thumbs up, whatever, wherever. Just let us know that you like what we're doing. We have a suggestion box now in the Twitch, so if you have things you would like us to talk about or games you might like to see us play when we complete other games, we will
'Cause-
get back to Resident Evil 2. I do want to finish
Oh,
that.
that's right. We still gotta
But,
beat that. But right now, yeah, we're
yeah.
in our
We're
Four
doing our
Sword
big
hype.
one before I get really busy with school.
Oh yeah, come check out the stream
yes.
on Monday because we're going to
If you're
get to see my cool
still
logo
with
that I
us-
drew.
actually, I'm getting ready to show that now.
Oh, cool.
So if anyone wants to
9:30.
see it, this is the new logo for.
Wait,
the
should we do like the whole Zelda build-up thing?
Yeah.
If I could
You got
cue the
that
sound
kind of
effect.
wrong, but I'll give you.
I-
I'll give you points. I give you points for trying, bud.
That's all I can
That
do.
is our new. I'm not sure where
It's
we're
our-
going to put it, but I'm going to find somewhere for it because I absolutely
He
love
says,
it.
Well done.
Is something.
Thank you.
I think it's amazing
Oh, yeah.
personally.
It properly represents each of us.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep everyone else in line while getting all the Force gems.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I spent a day and I ended up drawing it. It took a couple hours.
I really enjoy it. Though,
I enjoy it.
so-
I plan on making T-shirts.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, whoa! What happened? Oh, all of his.
Oh yeah, Caps will do that. Sorry
oh no!
about that.
All of his messages.
Wait, caps lock? You said?
All of his messages got deleted.
Well, I see that, but what?
Anything that's in caps will be taken out by Streamlabs.
I was typing
currently.
caps.
I'm working on it.
It deleted
I was gonna say,
everything.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I just look up and I was like,
Streamlabs is what I'm using to keep like our chat
sorry, I
in
was
the
excited.
video.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I just
I've
look up
gotta
and like
figure
everything's
out-
deleted. I was like, what happened?
It's meant for people that actually spam an insane amount, but like I want to figure it out so like it gives people like if they do that in a spurt, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
I wish I could do it like an aggregate, like you get so many in a chat before it starts blocking it on a timer. Like if you get like 50 in a row, it cuts a timer for like 10 minutes, nobody can caps, and then it shuts off after a little while, so they just can't keep happening. But
Yeah.
we're still working on the auto moderator thing, and God knows we can't get our moderator up early enough to do this because he's up all night living as a dinosaur in a virtual world. But thanks again for joining us, guys.
Yep.
I hope you have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day.
Yes, enjoy your day.
Take
Come
it
back.
easy, and
Come back Monday.
yeah,
Come watch
back
the
tomorrow.
stream.
And bring a friend, you know.
Yeah,
Bring a
bring
friend.
friends. We like to we like to talk to people that are in the chat. We like to interact, and I would like to have even backseat gaming is welcome a lot of the time, as long as you don't spoil story.
We are also kawaii in the Four Swords logo. So yes, actually, I do plan on making shirts. So like, if you want one, maybe
We'll have to get some
I
pricings.
might drop some. They have like website making like
Yeah, we're making shirts.
we're making shirts.
We'll have to figure out the logistics, and we'll get back to you. Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
See y'all.